Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Avonlea, a certified nutritionist, a habit coach, and a future clinical mental health therapist, helping women live lives they actually want to live. On this channel, we talk all things about habit, mindset, health, and living intentionally for women who are ready to build their dream lives. Today, I'm going to talk about my story and how I got to where I am today and why I am currently living my dream life as a habit, health, and mindset coach. For nearly as long as I can remember, I have been setting goals and creating habits. I've always been so passionate about progressing and striving to become the woman that God wants me to be. I remember when I was maybe 6 or 7 and my family was creating vision boards for the new year, and my sister was constantly getting on me about brushing my teeth. So I remember creating my vision board, and I remember putting scriptures on it and then a toothbrush. And my new goal and my habit was to brush my teeth twice a day, every single day. I know, super silly, but I believe that's where my passion started, because I saw how creating a goal and a habit of brushing my teeth consistently and daily helped me to have better hygiene, foster discipline, and learn how to work towards a goal that maybe was uncomfortable or harder to achieve at the time. I grew up with the most amazing single mother. She loved us completely and was so determined and dedicated to giving us a life where we could thrive. But after my parents' divorce, she had to provide financially for 3 young girls, and it was really hard on her. She sort of went into survival mode and really gave her all to making enough money to provide for her family. This is something I truly admire and respect about my mother. Unfortunately, though, it really took a toll on her physical health. She didn't have the time or energy to really care for herself and do things for her. So when I was in about 8th grade, I read the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And the 7th habit that it talks about is sharpening your saw. It talks about self-renewal and how important it is to take care of yourself so that you can take care of others, so that you can be a better leader, better employee, better parent. And this was something that really resonated with me, because I saw how my wonderful mom gave her all to providing for her kids, but neglected her health. And ever since reading 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I have wanted to be someone or be a coach who teaches others how to take care of themselves so that they can better serve, teach, lead, and accomplish their mission in life. When I was in high school, my dream was really to be an entrepreneur, but not for some big new tech company, but to be an entrepreneur as in have something small for myself to fuel my passion into and to help others. I wanted to be this kind of entrepreneur and a stay-at-home mom, which momtrepreneur, I think is what they call it. So this became my dream in high school. And then as I graduated and moved on to college, I thought, who's going to want to learn about self-care and self-renewal? Who's going to want to learn about goals and habit creation? And who am I to say that I can help them? I'm, this 18-year-old girl who, has been setting goals her whole life, but what do I know? And what do I have to offer? So I started to nix that idea. As I got into college, I found myself studying business and event management. And I loved every moment of my degree. And by the time of graduation, I still didn't know quite what I was going to do with it, but I knew that I would figure it out and that God would lead me. So I ended up working for the community and gained a lot of great experience. Then I was in a pretty bad car accident and had a severe concussion. And I noticed, this was around the holidays, and I noticed when I was eating more holiday treats that my concussion and my herniated discs in my back and my neck would hurt even worse. So I became really passionate about nutritional science and how what we eat affects the body and especially the brain. This is where I first found my love for tying mental and physical health together, because I noticed that my concussion symptoms of depression, anxiety, and brain fog and lack of concentration were so much worse when I ate more inflammatory foods like sugar and holiday treats. So I got certified and I started nutrition coaching, and I ran into something that was really challenging for me, where the women that I worked with really struggled with perfectionism and body shame and body image issues and eating disorders. And I thought, I can teach people about nutritional science. I can teach them about exercise and staying hydrated and getting good sleep and building good relationships. But there is so much more to the problem. And if we want to create sustainable change, we have to tap in to the mental health and the mindset and the psychology of the brain. So I really wasn't sure how to do this, but I knew that I didn't want to directly be a nutritionist. And even though I was talking about nutrition on social media and on different platforms, a lot of people kept asking me about my vision board and about goal setting. And so I deemed a phrase called co-creating with God, where we are a partner with God to create our dream life. And this is something I started to teach about and talk about because I feel like it's something that I have really used in my life. So go back to my childhood. I grew up doing gymnastics, cheer, tumbling, dance, and I absolutely loved it. I tried out for the junior high cheer team and didn't make it, and thought, the judges are really just looking for the really cute, petite girls, and it's political, so I'll try out for the high school cheer team. So I worked my butt off for the following year and was so determined to make the high school cheer team. And I would pray constantly. I really was so determined, and I just knew I was gonna make the high school cheer team. Well, every time I would pray with my mom, she would mention, let Avonlea make the cheer team if it be thy will. I was like, that's funny. Of course it's his will. And I would kind of just brush it off. Well, flash forward, as you can probably predict, I did not make the high school cheer team. And, immediately I was pretty devastated. But then this phrase came back in my mind, if it be thy will. And I thought, maybe God has a plan. So then a few days later, applications for student government opened, where we could run and campaign for office to serve the student body. And my mom did student government in high school and in college, and I thought, well, that sounds kind of fun. Let's try it. This was for sophomore year when I was a freshman, so there was 3 different junior highs that fed into the high school, and there were only 3 officers selected from my junior high to be a class officer in the high school. So my odds really were unlikely that I would make it. I wasn't super popular. I didn't play any sports, but I decided to go for it. And I ran for sophomore class office, and surprisingly, I made it. And that experience really taught me that God has a plan, but that He also wants us to take action and decide for ourselves what we want. Another example is when I was applying for colleges, I said, I want to do some type of leadership program, student government, ambassador program in college. So what did I do? I applied for all of the ambassador programs in the state, and I had final interviews for all of them. I was feeling really excited. I was feeling really good. This is something that I really wanted to do in college. And to my surprise, I didn't make any of them. So I had to come back to the drawing board and say, where do I want to go to college? And the college that kept coming to my mind is a little bit of a lesser known college. It was far away from my hometown. I didn't have any friends going there. And I was like, I'm not going there. This is weird. But I just kept feeling drawn to this university. And so I decided to do what I needed to prepare to go to this school. And then I got an email from the ambassador program saying, hey, actually, we had a spot open. We would love to offer you the position. And this taught me that God wanted me to make a decision first, and then He would open doors. So this is the idea of co-creating with God. And this is something that I'm so passionate about. So I started coaching on co-creating with God, and I called it Christian Mindset Coaching. And I did this for a little while, and I had so much fun with it. But during this time, I was really struggling with IBS symptoms, lack of energy, just physically, I wasn't feeling my best. And then my life completely changed. So I was married at the time, and my husband and I had drastically different ways of communicating. And one day he left our marriage and filed for divorce, and I was completely blindsided. but I had a lot of support and I picked myself back up and I decided to move forward. And this is a long story for another day, but I really saw how God provided and how God had a plan and how He saw the bigger picture and He had bigger and brighter things ahead for me and for my future. And I also noticed that as stress was minimized from my life and I started to heal and recover from this big life shift, my physical symptoms of IBS and brain fog and lack of energy and really bad stress acne started to go away. And I started to feel more energy and I felt more alive and I just felt so much better. And this was something that taught me again how interconnected physical and mental health are in combination with planning with God and co-creating with God. So through yet another experience that taught me so much, I developed this passion and I developed this integrated coaching with mind, body, and soul. There's a lot of people out there that talk about mind, body, and soul, but I didn't feel like anyone really honed in on the psychology and the nutritional science and the Christian mindset. And I thought, I cannot do coaching and I cannot help women create their dream lives. I can't help women to feel confident and fulfilled and powerful without using all three of these things. So I have the background and I had, the certification in nutritional science and holistic health. I have personal, relatable experience in setting goals and creating a life with God and working with His plan and giving ideas and listening to His ideas as well and finding a compromise. And after my divorce, I felt God leading me to get a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling so that I can really learn the psychology and the science of the brain and how we can really shift people's lives. So that is what my coaching is all about. It has been such a wild and such a fun journey to figure out my niche and figure out what I really want to do. And I'm so passionate about this holistic approach to transforming our lives, to empowering other women, to fulfilling God's mission and plan for our lives, to becoming the person we were always meant to become. So I've been coaching for about 3 years now, and it is my medicine. It is my greatest joy. I focus specifically on habits because habits are what anchored me through these storms of life. My car accident, different traumas throughout my childhood and even adulthood, my divorce, and so forth. Every decision in between, deciding on a career, an educational path, different friendships and relationships. Habits have anchored me and have centered me in who I am and who I'm becoming and who I want to be. And I know habits can be really difficult. It can be hard to make them stick. And a lot of the time we set so many goals and want to create so many habits at a time that we get so overwhelmed and life is busy and we get burnt out and perfectionism creeps in and we have all these limiting beliefs and these doubts and these fears. But I hope you know, and I want you to know, that it is possible, that you are capable and you have everything it takes to change your life and to live the life that you have always dreamed. I have several different resources help you in your journey, some freebies, some various courses, and my one-on-one private coaching program. This coaching program is called the AV Approach. I wanted something that was unique to me, but also gave symbolism and meaning. So my logo, it's got an A and a V, and it shows that life goes up and down. Life goes, it's a zigzag, goes from left to right and up and down. And we're climbing these mountains, but we're going upward and we're making progress and we're doing it. So that's the story behind my logo and my name. If you're a high achieving woman, but you feel overwhelmed navigating life's transitions and challenges, or if you know that you were made for more, but you feel stuck or scattered or like you're constantly starting over and over again and not making any progress, or if you're really focusing on healing and recovering from something big in your life, this place is for you. And I would love to give you and share with you any resources that will help you on your journey, because we are all here to become our best selves and to live the life where we feel alive and excited to wake up every morning. So know that you are capable of so much more and that it is possible. And I'm so excited to share this journey with you and build our dream lives together.